Good morning, students. It is the video of the poem An Elementary School Classroom in Slum, written by Stephen Spender, an English poet and writer who really has expressed his ideas on the condition of the poor children not only in one country but globally, what kind of pain and suffering they are just feeling and experiencing in their lives. That is very, very pensive that the poet has tried to express. The trials and tribulations of the post-World War Europe finds expression in Spender's verse and prose. Means whatever he observed after the war, that he has described in his poems, that are quite. Here he has used some poetic devices that are quite relevant to understand. Where all their future is painted with a fog in narrow streets sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves and stars boards. Really, the poet wants to tell that their life is closed, their future is in dark, they are having so many problems that they live in such narrow walls from where the future is seen in darkness. They cannot come out of this very hell of life. Is with lead sky, the sky that is very clear, that they are not able to approach because they live far away from the natural things that are rivers, caves, and stars of words. Means where these great politicians, writers, and authors live, those places, the river where the civilization took place, the caves, those kinds of beautiful dresses, and those kings and ancient kings who lived at the time, really, they are not accessible to them. So here that you must know. It is the third stanza. Surely Shakespeare is wicked and the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal for lives that slidey, turning their cramped holes from fog to endless night. Really, you can understand. They live in such miserable condition where it is too cold. They have no winter clothes to protect themselves, and they live in such cramped holes that unknown places from where it cannot be achieved, that very well developed cities that are so far away. On their slag heap, the children wear skins picked through by bones and spectacles of steel. With mended glass, like bottle beads on stones, all of their time and space are foggy slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as dome. The poet tells very clearly that Shakespeare is wicked. This is because he misleads the children. He shows them a beautiful world of ships, sun, and love, which is not only unreal for them but has corrupting influence on the children. He provokes them to steal and try to escape from their cramped holes Their existence is really very sad. These undeferred or underfed children are so thin that it appears that they are wearing only skins. They are only wearing only skins. Their bones are seen visibly because they are malnourished. They have not been fed well. The spectacles they are wearing have glass. They have glass which has been broken and mended. The entire appearance reeks of their deprivations. The poet says that is outrage. He wants to suggest that the maps on the walls should show huge slums instead of beautiful scenic graphics. Means it does not want that only the beautiful things should be exhibited on the map, but these ugly scenes, that is the naked scene, the most miserable sight of the people who live in the world, are never expressed on the map. What is the reality of life? So the poet wants to apply heat on this juncture of life. Unless governor, teacher, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that set up upon their lives like catacombs. Finally, in the fourth stanza, the poet reveals the appalling truth. What kind of truth? Very unattractive, disheartening truth that there can be no change for better unless a governor, a teacher, a school inspector, or an educationist or a visitor comes to their school. Mansi wants that these people who are the great rulers, governors, teachers, inspectors, visitors who come from abroad or from the developed cities, they can change. But they are also the men who really make false promises, and so their life is set upon their catacombs. Means those places that are most unattractive, those places that are most deadly hated. Means now they have to live underground and they are not known to the rest of the world. So here they are really confined in this very world of poverty and helplessness. Lastly, the poet tells, break open till they break the town, and sow the children green fields, and make their world run as your own gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books, white and green lips open. History is theirs, whose language is the same. Here, in this very stanza, the poet appeals to those people who are in power. He wants that they should be liberated from these slums. The children should be liberated who live a very horrendous life that they are living. He also exhorts the people themselves to break open these windows. Why should they stay there? They should come forward, revolt, and fight for their rights, that they have been the victims of injustice. Here he wants that they should not live in this very silt phase of life. They would like to see the children bask in the educational facilities in this world. They should come open they should be well educated. They should also become carefree on the golden beaches and enjoy a new lease of life and freedom. The poet earnestly desires that each and every child should be able to enjoy the fundamental right to freedom. They should have access to all kinds of books, new as well as old. They should also be able to learn from nature around them. Here, Stephen Spender ends the poem on a very positive note as expresses his belief that people who are ignited by the spirit of knowledge and learning are the ones who read history. Really, history is theirs whose language is the same. So, he is quite positive. It is the moral liability of everyone to break the shackles between the haves and the have-nots. So, it gives a very meaningful attitude to the people who live in slum that education is the most powerful weapon with which they can empower themselves and they can write something and they can create a history in the world. So only the educated people can enlighten and just make the hell happen. So here it is. There are some literary devices that must be understood. Children are compared with rudderless reeds. That is what simile. Boy is compared with paper as he is thin. Paper seeming boy, it is metaphor. Use of far is stressed on the distance. So here the use of far is also a repetition. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sound. E, build, flowery, tireless, valley, E word is repeatedly used. Allusion is the reference to well-known person or place. That is what Shakespeare said, tireless valley. And here, repetition, far is repeated. Literary device here, metaphor, their homes are very small like holes. That is metaphor. Their repaired spectacles like bottle beads on stones, simile. And here use of F sound from form, that is alliteration. Metaphor, books and nature are expressed in form of white and green leaves. That is the white green leaves open means that is about the book, that is metaphor. Anaphora is the use of repeated words in two consecutive lines. Run azure, run naked. So here the word that begins with run naked and run azure in the last third and second line of the poem, that is the example of anaphora. So that's all. Thank you, children. Thank you, children. In this way, an elementary school classroom in Slum, which was published in selected poems in 1964, I have tried to make understand. Thank you all.